had a really difficult time coming up with the subject matter for this video. What am I most ashamed of? Because when I look back over my life, there isn't a singular event where I greatly violated my morals and I feel terrible about that, or I really disappointed somebody and it's dogged me for the rest of my life. There are tiny little things here and there and things that I've dealt with already. So there isn't that one event, if you know what I mean. And I'm sure other people have that one event. It's just, for me, I couldn't come up with something like that. So what I eventually came upon was an overarching theme that has affected me my entire life and what I've done with that. So to explain, I'm an extremely stubborn person, and any family members watching this are chuckling right now because they know. But being stubborn is not a bad thing. There's nothing good or bad about being stubborn. It's how you use it. And for the most part, I have used it for my benefit. When people have told me that I cannot do something, I'm like, I'll show you. And that has served me very well. They've told me that I couldn't have a dog at one point, certain circumstances, and that's a really amazing story of overcoming. And yeah, I was gonna have the exact dog that I said I wanted to have, and she ended up being such a light and joy in my life, and everything worked out because I knew it was going to. I think I needed that extra push of someone telling me I couldn't to really make sure I made it happen. People told me with different health challenges that I've had, oh, that's just something that you're gonna have to live with, and this is your new normal. Oh no, absolutely not. That is probably the exact right thing to say to someone like me, for me to make sure that I come up with a solution, and I have. So being stubborn can be very good. You stick to your guns, stand your ground, however you want to term it. Being stubborn can also be used to your detriment. When something is supposed to be for your good and you're being stubborn and resisting against that, of course, you're using it in a way that can cause yourself damage. So how I have done that, I would say, and this is really difficult to describe because I've used sound reasoning and my beliefs to say no to changes. And I got myself so confused, I really believed I was making good decisions. And this is something that we can all do. We can take truths and then put them into our scenario and deny other truths in favor of these because these are easier. Okay, so how can I describe this? So I think what I'm most ashamed of is what I've done in my marriage. My husband, I believe, is supposed to be the leader of our family. He sets the tone, he sets the example, he's the provider. So him first all the time. If you're a Christian family, you're following the picture that is in the Bible. The man is supposed to exemplify Christ, which is the head of the church, and the church follows, and he protects and takes care of and nurtures the church. So how did I use that in a way that did not benefit me? I am a natural leader in the fact that I'm the firstborn of my family. I've practiced leadership whenever I've been in an employed situation. It was very easy for me to take a leadership role, and I really enjoyed it in those settings. However, it was also super easy for me to take that role in my marriage where that was not my place, and it caused me a lot of stress, and then I was bitter about it because I wanted to be able to relax at home, relax in my marriage, have a strong leader lead. And I'm the type of person, if I don't think that you're leading quite right, I'll just take over. I'll do it. If you want it done right, do it yourself. Yeah, that messes things up really bad. And yeah, it made me very upset all the time. I was crabby about it, and I didn't know why. I didn't know that I was self-sabotaging myself, self-sabotaging my marriage. Except when it came to things that I didn't really want to do. So if I didn't really want to make a change, like, oh, here is a great chance to put yourself forward in a leadership role where you can gain a lot of traction financially. Or even better example, here's a place where you could submit yourself to your husband and have better intimacy. I didn't want to do that because that was uncomfortable for me. I could do it. I knew I was fully capable. I kind of wanted to do it in many aspects, but it was a challenge I wasn't ready to face. And so therefore I pulled out my card, well, he's supposed to be the leader and I don't want to make the first step and advance past him, because how would that make him feel? And what if I keep zooming ahead and leave him behind? And the insecurity with that, will he catch up? And yeah, all those doubts and the insecurities and the fact that I wasn't really willing to do the work that came along with it as much as I thought I was. I would pull that out as an excuse. And was it true that I wanted him to be the leader? Absolutely. Was it true that he needs to be the leader? Absolutely. But it was an excuse. I pulled out that truth as an excuse. And yeah, like I said, sabotaged myself, sabotaged my marriage. Things could have been so much better, so much sooner. I feel like we've worked kind of backwards from most marriages. You got most marriages is the honeymoon phase. Everybody's in love. It's wonderful. It's easy to do things the way you're supposed to do. And then you get in a rut and things get harder and harder. I can say that with my marriage, we started off really hard and it was rough and rocky and things, we didn't know how to make things work, and it has gotten so much better. And it only has when I went to God and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being fearful. I'm sorry for using things as an excuse for not doing the work that I need to do. And if you put us together, then I should be able to trust you to make things work out if I'm doing what I need to do. Okay, so I don't see him taking the first steps. Does that mean that I sit here and do nothing and just wait? It seems kind of stupid when you ask yourself those questions, but I wasn't willing to ask myself those questions. You got to get to the point where it's painful enough that you're willing to look in the mirror and say, okay, you've been lying to yourself, you've been hypocritical, you're not really trusting. And when I took those steps towards, okay, if I want better intimacy, maybe I should make the first move and just be bold and brave. And if I feel ridiculous and silly, oh well, if it's embarrassing, just do it and trust God. Take those first steps for myself, not trying to take leadership, not trying to bulldoze my husband, but just moving forward when I'm supposed to, and not clinging to excuses because I'm scared of what might happen, but trusting God. And so yeah, I hope I've explained that well. So yeah, that's the timer for the kids. I'm ashamed I let that go on as long as I did, because when I finally trusted and I made those really hard steps forward, oh my goodness. It could have gone any which way. Everyone has their own story, but I finally am reaping the benefits of that, and our marriage is so incredible now, and I know it's only going to get better. I'm sure I will be more articulate about this in the future, However, I hope this has been encouraging to others.